This is an old kind of machete I made from a lawnmower blade. So now I have this blade. It's a chisel bevel. It's only on one side. Other side's flat. And it's a good size. It's definitely more front heavy. So I was working on this knife a little bit. I haven't gotten much done, but this half of it is starting to look cleaner compared to this. I scraped off a lot of steel. After a lot of filing, I managed to get the metal to be, it's dirty though, it's much smoother. It looks cleaner because I got a lot of this junk off of it. This rust and stuff that's in the tank still. Okay, so after a while of filing this, I managed to get it pretty even. Can't get all these nicks out because they're pretty deep. But after filing this and getting it all flat, I redid the profile of the edge and made it nice and even. The only thing that's not even is there's a very small dip right here. First I traced the metal blade and the tang onto a sheet of paper and drew out a handle design. I took a picture of it, which I could have scanned it. Then I used it in the computer, and I used GIMP, which is basically free Photoshop, and I edited the image and printed out a copy. I don't know where it is. Right here. I have some copies of the printout, and I glued it onto a piece of wood that I cut in half so I could have two pieces. And then I used a Dremel and I carved out the shape so I could get the shape that I needed. And the most challenging part about this, because I'm still kind of new to knife making, and this blade wasn't a full tang, it couldn't be the same size as the handle, it's just a small piece. I had to channel out a groove for this to fit into. And after a while of working on this, I've gotten it to fit pretty well. Basically, I just made a chisel. I had a scrap piece of steel from a binder. This is behind the thin metal that you see when you open up a binder. This thing's bent for some reason, but I just put a bevel on it using a file and then sharpened it a little bit using very fine sandpaper, and it got a good edge on it. And then I simply carved out this entire thing going along the grain, because going against it would be impossible. So I had to go with the grain, which took a long time. And after I got most of this channeled out, I managed to fit the Dremel into these edges and clean them up just a little bit so that it would fit onto the tang better. For the back of this, I just have a bit of cloth that I taped on. I put it into my palm like this, and I push on it to carve. So after a lot more work, I managed to get both handle scales, and now I'm going to do something that I also didn't do on my other knife, which is drill holes and insert a pin. I don't have any brass, and I also don't know where I could buy these in my small little town. So I found some steel, I guess it's steel wire or something. It's 1/8 inch thick. It's actually a rod. It's really hard to bend. So I figure this will be a good pin material. So here is the knife so far. I went ahead and finished the handles, drilled holes through them, put the pins in, trimmed the pins, and I just epoxied it and clamped it together. I said screw it and went ahead and epoxied the whole edge. Got much work done just now. I took it out of the clamps, sanded down all of the excess glue, so now it just has a nice dark line at the spine. I grinded down the pins a little bit first and then sanded it, so the pins are now flush with the handle. I resanded this hole to make it smoother for my finger. Resanded the entire thing, and then I used a finer grit and went over it, so now it's pretty smooth. The knife is finished. I stained the handle with a, I think it's not cherry, it might be mahogany or something. But I stained it, it looks nice, has nice grains. The steel pins, they look pretty nice too, they're flush with the handle. The blade, it's not buffed out to where it's extremely shiny, but it's smooth enough for what I need it to do. And that is to cut wood. So here I have a 2x4, I already tested it. So I'm going to cut some of this. I'm just trying not to hit my fingers, but as you can see, it just cuts through it pretty easily. And go like this. It'd be a little easier if I could do this on a tree stump, but this knife works. It works very well. I could make it sharper. It does have some dull spots now because I've dropped it and stuff, but it still cuts, so it's good enough. So here is the completed knife. I hope you enjoyed watching. I am going to make more knives. So hope you enjoyed. Please rate it, comment what you think, and I'll get back to you.